Thank you, Marshall. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the June 17th, 2026 CALPADS Q&A. My name is Paul Higgins. I'm a data analyst working at SIS supporting CALPADS. Anyway, let's go ahead and get down into the announcements. End of year. End of year is running. And so let's jump over here to the calendar. The calendar tells us that end of year 1 is going to be due. The initial deadline is on July 17th with the suggested 0 errors date of June 26th. So we are within 10 days of that suggested 0 errors coming up. And if you look in the roadmap in the user manual, end of year 1 shows that we should be in the resolving certification and data discrepancy errors right now and beginning to review the snapshot reports. The end of year 2 is, of course, still running as well, but it runs a little bit staggered behind, so we're still in that data population stage. So concentrating on end of year 1 right now, we should be done with data population. If you're not, please make that a focus. I'm going to come back to it here in a minute, but I'm going to ask the group if they have any questions or anything that they want to address to the group, any announcements, anything specific, and then I'm going to come back and I want to talk about the SCSC0139E2 error because, frankly, I can't respond to that ticket anymore, ever. Who has anything for the group right now?
I guess I can go, but share my screen if I can find it. Okay, so we did have a release go in yesterday. A couple items went in. I just want to point out a new bug that we logged. Kind of important this time of year that your SELPAs are not getting the notification when you LEA approve end of year. So you might just keep that in the back of your mind while this bug is ongoing, that you can reach out to them yourself and let them know that you've approved and they're ready. It's ready for their self review and approval. And yes, I'm driving today. Please be kind. I haven't done this in a very long time. Paul, I was thinking we're really short-staffed today. A lot of folks are out. But this Q&A call has come a long way. It started out with Paul, myself, Gary, and Linda huddled around a little speakerphone in an office a long time ago.
And it stayed that way for a long time.
Yes, and I've been able to delegate for a long time, but as I'm driving today, and I hope I do justice to the analysts that typically drive. So, Dominic, do you have anything for us today?
No, nothing new. Thank you.
Do you know if Sean's going to be joining us, or has she joined?
I believe she's out of the office, but I'm not certain.
All right, so we are lacking a CDE generalist today, so we may ask 1 or 2 service tickets be put in on some of those questions. We do have Dominic here today, so our SPED needs are covered. And hopefully with the additional CSIS staff, we can cover what we usually do. All right. Angelo, did you have anything to say about the build or anything more? Or
that was it, yeah.
Okay, good. Can you pull up the SCSC0139E2 for me? Thank you. Okay. I'm having a small mental breakdown on my end because I've had to address this question half a dozen times today. And each time I address it, I have to delve deep into people's data and find the problems and then try and troubleshoot it and then give you the answers back. Very labor intensive. So I want to talk about it just broadly first before I jump into the Q&A. The basics behind this error is that it triggers when you have enrolled students, the SCSC data, into course data, CRSC data, that doesn't exist in CALPADS. So you're specifying a course section in that SCSC data that was never created by course data, that CRSC data. And that's the issue. So you have to pick one of the records, find that course section, delve down deep, use the student course functionality off of the left-hand nav under online maintenance, and go down and dig. Yeah, there you go. Get in there, go into course data, and you populate it, filtering, looking for that course section. So you populate that course section ID using one of the course sections that it's triggering it. You filter using it, going down to the school level if you need to, if you've used that course ID multiple times across campuses. When it comes up, you're going to see that course data in the resulting pane down below. You can see which courses exist in CALPAD. If it's not on that list, it doesn't exist in CALPAD. And the biggest problem I see is with academic term codes. You'll create the semester one, but you'll miss the semester two, or vice versa. But you enroll the student into both of them. So now you're getting the SCSC0139 on half of your data because you only put in half of the school year. So make sure you're putting in that aggregate file, the complete file. Both those file types use replacement processing based on the operational keys, and the course file data uses school of attendance, or I'm sorry, school of course delivery, academic year, and academic term code. So if those are your problems, if any of those are your problems, you're replacing data every time you're putting up a new course data file. So you can't do it in sections unless you're very, very, just very detail oriented and minimizing it down to each school, not letting any bleed over and being very thorough. Or you could do the complete file. If you do the complete file, just make it's complete. All semesters, all terms, all trimesters, whatever it is that you got to load, put it into that file. Don't try and put up a second file because you're probably going to eliminate half your data or part of the data while still posting it. So big files. That's what course data and student course data look like. They're huge. Not so much
Can
the
I add
course
on to
data.
that, Paul?
Absolutely, please.
I do think that perhaps Aeries might have something going on. I'm not sure. I'm waiting to hear back, but related to dual enrollment with their college courses, that something's going on there. And I don't know if I'm not 100% sure if it's the user's problem or if there's something going on with their extract. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But if you're an Aeries user, you might want to put a ticket in with them and see if you can get to the bottom of that.
All right, perfect. And then if you do need help, please still put in that ticket. We'll go through it with you. And if you do need to start fresh, pull a complete real-time extract for the course data or the student course data, format it as a delete transaction. You have to pull off the last two columns. You need to rename the file type, and you need to put a D in the transaction type as a delete. Remove all the data, start fresh. The analogy that I wanted to use this morning but refrained from, it was like they were just taking different colors of paint and just throwing it on the wall. And then when it didn't look right, they'd grab the next paint and throw it on the wall. And it was a completely different color, but now you can see two colors next to each other, but not all of either one. They just kept piling and piling and piling until it was just a completely unworkable environment because there was course data from 3 different uploads. There was student course data from 4 different uploads. It was just a mess. So if you need to start fresh, start fresh. We can help with that too. All right, I'm off my soapbox. I apologize for taking my time or taking your time. We're 12
I do
minutes
have one
in.
more thing to add onto that. I think last year around this time, I think we were asking the developers if they could give us a delete button that would just go in and drop their course or their student course files for that academic year, and they seemed amenable to it. I don't know where that discussion went because there's sometimes I work with somebody and they understand it, but it's just like it's too hard to delete because it's not always like a full replacement file, right? Because the academic
because of the
term is
operational keys.
yeah, as operational keys. So it's like they're just begging, please, can you just delete it for me? So I'll follow up on that and see if we can make some traction there.
I have something before you get started, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Heather placed in the chat a FYI that the SELPAs are not seeing the LEA approved or disapproved button. And earlier today, I don't know if it's the case for all of you, but report 16.27 was implemented not too long ago. So those LEAs that certified early could have certified before the report was added. And we found that the disapprove button works in the same manner that the approve button. All the reports have to be viewed. So in investigating why there was a disapprove button missing earlier today, we found out that 16.27 did not have the green check mark. And it's not one that we traditionally look for because it was added this year. And so you have to make sure that report is checked. And then voila, I looked crazy because the approve button appeared. So that's something you might want to look for, Heather.
That
And
was such a good find,
anyone
Nate.
else
Yeah.
out there.
That's a great find, Nate. I mean, and that's way below the fold too. And to get it LEA approved, you just assume they were all green check marks.
Yep.
And
Wow.
when your boss second guesses your work, you have to double check. That's all. That was luck. Angela was looking over my shoulder, so I had to dig down deep.
You're lying. That's not even true because I saw the same thing you did and I escalated it. It was the developer or the tester that sent it back.
Well, maybe I just felt that way as sweat was beating down my forehead.
Anyway, I think we should get to some Q&As.
I think you're right. Okay, diving in. We got Asia 302 Q1. In regard to infants, grade level infant, IN, is there a month or a deadline within the year by which a student reaches 36 months, they should no longer be categorized as infant? Okay, here it is. It's 0 through 35 months. So as soon as they hit that 36th month, they are no longer infants. So 36 months and a day, they are, what's the next one? A toddler?
Pre-kindergarten.
Oh, pre-K. Okay. All right, moving on to Rochelle 303 Q1. In the CALPADS code sets, state code 7839 says that it is a capstone course in the definition, but only one where the name column does not say capstone. Is there a reason for this inconsistency? All right, so let's look at code set 7839. All right, so this is the capstone is in the definition. What does the valid code combos course master combo say about it?
It's indicated as a capstone course. So
Okay.
we may need to reach out to requirements to add the name as well, because in the course group master combo, it's not showing as a capstone course as well under the state name. But the indicator under the capstone course indicator columns shows a yes.
All right, so it's just a documentation issue and we need to add the, in parentheses, capstone?
Yes.
All right, easy enough. Okay, moving on to Cassie 304 Q1. Student with disabilities has aged out. However, the last date they attended was after they turned 22 years old, December exit. They received a certificate of completion for their last year of school. Should their exit reason in SEIS be 73 max age as they left after turning 22? Or should it be 71 high school completer with other than diploma since they received the certificate of completion?
So referring to SACE's internal CALPADS crosswalk documentation, 73 max age is going to be the appropriate choice because it's the only one that creates a student with disabilities status record of not eligible. Code 71 would create eligible and not enrolled, which would not be appropriate for a student that is aged out of the program.
Very good. Thank you. And we have Sharmila 304 Q1. We have SOFF error SINC700E1 and SIRS704E1. We are unable to add a SOFF record for an instant. We have a ticket submitted. Paul has responded that he is escalating our request for further review. Any idea when this will be resolved? No, I have actually not heard back yet.
So
So
it's working as designed.
Have you,
So you should have got an email from somebody, Paul.
I may have. It may be in there. When
There's
was that?
have,
Go ahead.
well, Kyron could probably speak to it better than me, but he found it out
yeah.
in end of year 2. If you use online maintenance and just for that student's record, create the same incident date, same incident ID. CalPADS forces you to use all 3 parts of it, the record, since it's not a submission, and it will overwrite what's there. So as you're submitting the sync information, you indicate why. You put the SIRS information in, and then you'll see the modal for the SOFF information. And long as it's the same incident ID, same date, same SSID, it's going to overwrite the existing information, not add to it. Previous to this year, I don't think it worked that way, but Kyron demonstrated it in end of year 1 training. So
Also, Sharmila had a follow-up comment is they tried that, but the soft section is not there. Sharmila, make sure that the statutory offense indicator is marked as a Y. That's the only time when the offense section will open up for you. So when you recreate the incident, first of all, open a new window. That way you would be able to work on that window while having a reference of the existing incident. That way you don't have any, you won't be making any additional errors. So on the window that you will be editing the incident, just try to add a new incident and copy all of the information that you've so far indicated on the prior incident and ensure that the statutory offense indicator is flagged as a yes. Because unless that's a yes, your offense won't show up. So if you click on yes, the offense section at the bottom will show up.
All right. That seems like a long way to go for a simple task. All right. Moving on, we have Lucia 305 Q1. Our COE received literacy coaches and reading specialist grant funds from CDE to support the development of a school literacy program. When creating this position and job description, is it a local decision whether to require a reading and literacy leadership specialist credential? Is it within our purview to include or not include this credential as a requirement? Based on your experience, are districts requiring literacy coaches hired through this grant to work towards earning a reading specialist credential or authorization during the grant period if they do not already hold one? Lucia, I have absolutely no idea. This is very specific to CDE, or if the money came from CDE, I'm not going to answer for CDE as to how they want to dispose. So if you want to put in a service desk ticket describing that, I will escalate it to them. Or if you have an email contact for whoever provided the grant, that would probably be a very good question for them to ask directly. We're moving on to Shelley 306 Q1. Is it appropriate to get SSIDs for Head Start or state preschool students? I have been asked to get them for Sunbuck. I told them we don't get SSIDs for them unless they are a student with disabilities based on the SSID and enrollment procedures document. That, again, Sunbucks is not my strong suit, but I have a tendency to agree with you that the SSID generation generally only occurs for the students, enrolled, getting the SPED evals, that kind of thing. So the preschool students, I don't believe are included in that, are they?
If they attend a Head Start program that's ran by the LEA and they're direct certified, they can be included and reported. They would be eligible.
Good to know. Becca states last year the guidance was to establish an SSID for the families that reached out. However, this year they were going to change that guidance, but nothing came out. And it looks like there's a complete ongoing discussion, and Bavita adds, you need to re-enroll those special. Okay, Bavita says to be eligible for Sunbucks, your LEA would need to enroll those non-SPED students, preschool students, into the NSLP participating school within the district and provide basic demographic information in CALPADS. Then if those preschoolers are deemed eligible for Sunbucks based on income, that data would be needed to be uploaded to the future to CD's supplemental Sunbucks collection SSBC in EDCS. Wow, that's a lot of discussion right there. Okay, I'm just going to leave that there, and y'all can go back and forth on that. I'm going to leave it open. Let's go down here to 307 Bispino. Q1, I have an issue with some of the substitute teachers triggering a CRSC0135. It's only 3 teachers, I noticed, and they're assigned as secondary staff in Aeries. This might be more of an Aeries question, but I thought it would be worth a shot to ask. I ended up removing them from my extract, but I know this is only a temporary solution. Would opening a ticket for this be better? All right, can you? The seed must be a valid seed in the CCTC. Ah, okay. So this may just be as simple as asking CDE to refresh the CTC credential table for CalPads, because if some of these credentials don't exist or changed or in some way are different, then they're not going to be recognized by CalPads. So yes, if you can put in a service desk ticket, I will put that up so that it's flagged to keep them working.
I think it automatically updates, Paul. The feed is nightly, so what I thought was maybe these substitutes don't have credentials yet, or they don't have their formal seed issued. So if you don't have their seed, there's ways you can go about finding it. Your county office has a contact. So if you search your county office, type in some Google term, search term like credentialing office, they'll usually have a contact person that you can try there.
All right, he thinks that's a good idea. Okay, Susan at 309 Q1. Can you guide me on the correct process for closing out SENR and SPED records for seniors who need summer credit recovery to graduate? Their summer programs wrap up on July 31st. Okay, July 31st is going to be in 26-27. And there was a whole rigmarole, 2 weeks ago, Angela, about this topic and about when and who gets reported and which classes. And so I'm not going to rehash that. I don't want to jump back in and get into that argument again. But for SENR data, if you know that they're coming back, I guess if it's just continuing from the last date of school, the next date they start, and the summer session begins, I would still close it out as E230. No, not an E230. Call it E156 because they're 12th
Mhm.
graders expected to come back. Then when they do come back for that summer session and they finish up, if they finish prior to July 31st or July 1st, put in a one-day enrollment, exit at E23100, and it's gone. If they finish up after July 1st, create a one-day enrollment, exit them E23100. Where they get captured for which reporting year will depend on that July 1st date. But it should reflect when they complete it. Now, when it comes to the SPED record, Dominic, how are you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm doing well. Thank you. So I would just say that whichever scenario plays out, just ensure that the student with disability status record has an effective start date one day after the enrollment exit date, that final enrollment exit.
And piggyback on that, remember the processing rules. If you close out that SENR, you lose your ability to add that new SWDS record, that SWIDS
Actually,
record. What?
You don't. Yeah, there's no requirement for an overlapping enrollment for status records.
All right. I'll take your word for that because I've been addressing a lot of GER 5 issues. So if you say that it's not supposed to happen, I'm going to take that into account next time.
Let me know if you run into that.
All right.
Thank you,
Susan, thank you very much for your question. And Dominic, thank you very much for the assist there. Sharmila, I see your Q2. We'll be back to that. Jennifer, Q1 at 3:23. There was a student with disabilities enrolled in a school, but not rostered in any classes. My understanding is that they were being assessed and wasn't attending classes. This is causing an SENR701E1 because they don't have a STAS record. Is it okay to report their STAS with the exempt indicator? Before I say, sure, do that, I would want a little bit more certainty beyond, well, I think that they were. If they were rostered for an evaluation, that's usually at the district office, and that's usually zeroed out to an N470 as soon as the determination is made and the special ed data is uploaded to CALPADS, then it's zeroed out to an N470. So that way they can then be assigned to whatever school, wherever they're going to be. But generally, if it's an evaluation enrollment, they're not sitting in a normal classroom. It's not rostered at a school, or it's not identified at a school. It's the district office. So I'm not comfortable giving you the advice to just put in an exempted STAS record. I would want to look at that a little bit closer before thinking that that was the best idea.
I agree, because typically if you had a student that was enrolled for assessment, they would be, and they're not typically or otherwise enrolled, they would either be a private school student or a preschool student, and you wouldn't be reporting attendance for those students anyhow.
Okay, so got it. Okay, she got it. Good. All right, perfect. Moving on to Ashley at 3:25 Q1. To confirm, the LEAP certification errors have been switched to warnings to not prevent certifying end of year one, but our LEA still needs to ensure that they have participation days and information uploaded to student records. Is that correct? That's my understanding, yes. All right, Chantal at 3:30 Q1. Does the SPED PSTS come from SEIS, or is it something like the PSTS uploaded for fall one? I use PowerSchool and I don't see a SPED PSTS file for end of year. Honestly, I think that was kind of an LEA decision as to who was going to manage that data. So I'm not sure what your LEA decided. It makes sense for the PSTS data for students with disabilities to be in your SEDS. It would seem to be kind of a manual add-on to your SIS. So yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Paul. Yeah, it does come from SACE. There's a separate data report in SAIS, and I believe it's the same for other special education data systems, because we do expect that data to come from those systems, not necessarily from an SIS, unless that SIS also reports special education records.
Thank you, Dominic. All right, that was the end of Q1, so I'm going to go back up to Sharmila 311, Q2. We have an SPRG 0747E1 error, but the homeless record is closed with an end date. The students exited from the school, which is 10/6/2025. Should we change the end date to 6/30/2026? To answer that, I think I'm going to hit what Kareem was asking about, is what is the start date for the program? If the start date for that 191 program is prior to the 25-26 academic year, it needs to be closed no later than June 30th, 2025, which is the end of the 24-25 school year. And if the student remained homeless into the 25-26 school year, a new program 191 record needs to exist in CALPADS for 25-26, closed to match their enrollment date or the end of the year this year. And there you go. Okay, Sharmeli, so you saying that the 8/13/24 is the start date. That means that it should end no later than the end of the 24-25 school year. So anything up to 6/30/2025. All right, going down to Shelley's Q2, 331. I asked this last week, but lost the answer. What is the appropriate way to report an 11th grade student that is graduating at the end of summer school on 7/1/2026? I want to make sure I don't have an issue with the STAS next year. Okay, so long as so they finish up summer school on 7/1, you create that 1-day enrollment for them. You can enroll them as an 11th grader or a 12th grader, whatever you're comfortable with. You assign them the E23100, you populate all of the graduation indicators, the golden state seal by literacy, all of those, just like a standard exit, and you exit them. What do I use for end of year?
The last day
Well,
of
they would,
school
for end of year, they're going to be an E156.
or
Actually,
55.
E155 because she's
Yeah.
a grade 11. But you don't have to change them to grade 12 to E23100 them. The end of year for just the school year would be E155, showing them as expecting to return. They return in summer school. They get that 1-day enrollment on 7/1. Okie dokie. And going down to Angelia, 334, assumed Q1. Our last day of school is tomorrow. Congratulations. I hope you have a good summer. And feel we will not meet the 0 error deadline by 6/26, although we are shooting for it. What happens if we still have errors next Friday? I don't want to be flip, but that just means you work a little bit harder after Friday. There's no penalty. Nobody's going to come and knock on your door and say, get back to work and get on those errors. You're just going to be watched a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more closely on our side. Make sure that you aren't falling behind, that you're keeping up. You may get a phone call or an email from your monitoring agent saying, hey, is everything okay? Yeah, we're not going to, like I said, there's no penalty for it. All of those suggested timelines, they're suggested milestones. If you can get there faster, great. If you get there a little bit later, not great, but okay. Just try and keep up and you always meet the deadline. If you're coming in hot and you still got errors and you got the deadline coming up, that's a different issue. Then I'm going to, start suggesting staying a little later, coming in a little earlier. Weekends are a good time. that kind of thing. But if you can keep up during the week and you just plod through getting that data uploaded, then working through those errors, you'll keep up. And the service desk exists to support you. If you have a question, a concern, a problem, open up a service desk request and we'll get to you.
Just not the 139 error. At least not
Yeah,
Paul.
just not the 139. I'm done talking about that thing.
He's kidding. We'll help you out.
Yeah,
Those
I'll
are
still
sticky ones,
talk
so we're
about
happy
it.
to jump in and help.
Looking at Ethan 334 Q1, confirming if we have students who participated in multiple ELPs, e.g. ELO-P and ACES. When reporting the total participation days on LEAP, should we not double count any dates when participated in both? Yeah, it looks like Angela has pulled up the FAQ page here.
Yeah, but I'm not finding that question. Oh. And knowing Ethan, he's read this many times. So he already knows it's not there. Oh, there was flash about it. Okay. Don't remember
Angela,
that one. Yeah.
you might want to look in the file specs for the expanded learning program days. It says the number of distinct days the student participated in one or more expanded learning programs. Distinct. So yeah, you would not double dip.
And distinct with one or more. So one or more happening on a single day, we just report it as one.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what the file stat says. Yeah, the file specs.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I had heard you correctly.
And so where did you see that, Adriana?
Right there, just right over where it says the distinct days, the number of distinct days the student enrolled, right there where you're at. So that's meaning.
Oh, no, right there. I was reading down below it. Okay.
All right. Did that help, Ethan? He's referencing the revised Flash 305.
Yeah, and the revised Flash 305 says, what does one day represent? One ELP day equals a student attending an ELP for any amount of time during a single day. So that kind of suggests you can't be in more than one program because a single day, any amount of time. And there's no distinction. Like the 3 different ELP programs are all going to get program code 194. And if you're there for 10 hours or 5 minutes in that current day, you get credit for a day of attendance. So I kind of agree with Adriana's interpretation. There would be no way to report 2 days of attendance in a single day. It's only one program, 194.
Thank you, Nate. All right, did that help, Ethan?
You did warn Ethan in the beginning, Paul, it might be a ticket situation.
It might be. And if you need a little bit more on that, I'd invite in a ticket and we'll get it up there and get clarified. All right. And I'm going to say it out loud. Q&A box is empty. We still have 18 minutes left on the clock. So anybody thinking about a question, somebody else is probably thinking about it too. So go ahead and ask it.
I just want to apologize. Well, I know. This isn't the question, though. Actually, Paul, you want to hear this. Paul was right. I was wrong. You do need an overlapping enrollment for a students with disability status. What I was thinking of when I was giving my response was that you can report a status that changed before the student arrived at your LEA. for example, if a parent had revoked consent, but a previous LEA did not report that, you can report that, but it still has to be within that enrollment. So I apologize.
Well, thank you, Dominic. I appreciate that. I had that written down to go out and make sure I hadn't been disseminating bad information. All right, thank you for that. Oh, and we do have a new Q1 from Solange at 3:42. Q1. So we have to go in, add new homeless records for all of the prior years. For example, if a student was homeless 7/1/23, we have to add one dated as of 6/30/24 and create a new record for all the years up to date. No. Using your example, if they open that record on 7/1/2023, that could be closed all the way up through 6/30/2025. So because you would have multiple records prior to that, or you'd have one record. So they're allowing that one record to be closed all the way up to the end of last year. Then a new one would need to be created for the current year and then closed within the current year as well. So not as much work, but still a bit more work because you do need to create the 25-26 program 191 records, the homeless records for this year. All right. So how's everybody's end of year going?
That milestone date crept up on us real fast.
It did. I was very surprised. Yeah, it's shocking to me how quickly this end of year has been rolling.
Well, it serves as a good warning because if the milestone date crept up fast, imagine how that certification deadline's gonna feel.
Thanks, Nate.
Hey, that's my role.
We have a new one. Claudia 345 Q1 programs. Could you please tell us again which programs CALPADS will be closing? Sorry, Kate. Kai, go ahead.
They meant auto closing. If it's auto closing, it's program 181 and 182. Once you've closed out your enrollments this year, it also closes program, I believe, what's the targeted assistance one?
22.
Yeah, program 122 as well.
And then the auto close for program 191 records that kind of got orphaned out there is going to happen as well. But it's a one-off and it's a very specific targeted audience there.
Yes, anyone who does not have any enrollments in this academic year who has a homeless program floating in the ether associated to your LA will be closed after end of year 1 reporting.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. All right. So Yadira's end of year is going good, but she wants a divorce from her homeless programs. It's completely understandable. The roadmap is helpful. Give Kyron a big pat on the back for that. He's been leading the charge with that user manual, and those roadmaps and those guidelines are very, very helpful. Angelia 346, please place the link 325 in the chat. All right. Copy link. I will put it in the chat right now, if I can find the chat.
I think it's already there, Paul. I think
Okay,
Rebecca put it in there.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Rebecca. When is this? Claudia is asking, when is the closing of programs? It will happen with the rollover of the academic year, I believe. So August is when that usually happens, late August into September.
It said per Flash 325, CALPADS will close all remaining open homeless program records after the close of the 25-26 EY submission.
Okay, so it will go with the
31st, maybe after 31st.
Terry 348 Q1. Will there be a new CALPADS documentation for the 26-27 academic year that supersedes the 426-17.1? And I believe Kyron can talk to this because didn't they just put up a new batch?
That's 17.1.
Oh, that's
That's the
17.1.
new one.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay,
maybe
so
there might
yeah.
be one after the rollover in
Yeah,
the next academic year. Yeah.
we'll have an 18 out for 26-27.
And that's why it's always good to get to pull the documents off the system documentation page because it's always the latest and greatest. All right. Susan 349 Q2. Thanks for the previous information. I'm still a little unclear on how the summer credit recovery process works for seniors who need it to graduate. Could you send over a link or let me know where I can read more in detail about how to get this set up?
Is she
Where's that document?
asking about the exit process or
Well,
the course
she
and
has
completion and
she's got a graduating, I don't remember if it was an 11th grader or 12th grader, has to complete summer school to get those last credits to graduate, and just wants to know the process from the E155 or E156 to the E23100. So how does all that happen, I guess, is what she's looking for. And we have a suggestion for a Flash 274.
Yeah, I think the cleanest one, if the student is a 12th grader, the cleanest one is to exit the student with an E156 using the last day of school. That way, regardless if the student completes the credits this summer or not, you still have an E156, and then you're basically on your way to either reporting the student in the next academic year or reporting an enrollment, a one-day enrollment to account for that graduation. So you have basically two enrollments. One is your regular exit, which is the last day of school with an E156. If it's a 12th grader, if it's an 11th grader, it's an E155. And then you have that one-day enrollment around July for your E23100.
All right, thank you, Kai.
Our Flash Whisperer is correct.
274. Okay, there you go.
And I'm putting that in chat. Thank you, Rebecca. I don't know how
All
you
right.
remembered that, Rebecca, but it's impressive.
It is very impressive. All right, we have about 8 minutes left.
It's a curse.
Asia 352 Q2. If a teacher updated a mark in the SIS after the SCSC was submitted, is it okay to make a manual change in CALPADS, or does the entire file have to be resubmitted? No, feel free to make that little surgical strike in there, change the grade level, just make sure it matches to what's in your SIS so there's never an imbalance there. All right, awfully quiet out there. Oh, here we go. See, all I had to do was say it. Angela 353 Q1. We just heard one of our CalPads district users did not obtain a new username or password by the May 1st deadline. Could you please remind me of what we need to do now? You need to chasten them and tell them to read their flash messages and do what they're told by the dates they're told to do it by. And then you need to kindly sit down with them and if you're the LEA admin, you can recreate their account in CalPads. You'll have to rebuild it. If they were an LEA admin, then they need to open up CalPads service desk ticket, and we need to get them back over to CDE and get them reactivated there.
No, CSIS does that now.
I'm sorry, CSIS does that now. Sorry.
So just a service desk ticket and we'll take care of them. If only if they're the LEA admin. they're not the LEA admin, the admin can convert them for them. It just made me think we should have said if you're the LEA admin and you don't convert by the deadline, you're going on CALPADS DA.
Ooh, ouch.
Is it double DA? One for user management and one
It's
for
double
data management.
secret DA. Okay, Susan, 354, can you repeat your answer to the 352 Q2 from Asia? Let me see if I can find it. 352. If you can do, that's if you just need to make a small change to the little bit of data, like a grade on an SCSC record, go in, use online maintenance, make the change, post it, then make sure your SIS says the exact same thing. That's really the only caution for me is make sure they balance. Okay. But yes, you can absolutely use online maintenance for precise little changes. So long as if it creates an error, obviously you need to fix it again using the same process. Okay, Cassie, 354 Q3, digging in deep today. When our LEA, which is a COE, holds a transition or interim IEP/amendment for a student moving to a program run by another LEA. Once our LEA affirms a transaction it created and submitted to CALPADS, once the SEIS record is transferred and the new LEA adopts the most recent transaction, we're running into IVR 612, duplicate plan effective start date. Additionally, it is not consistent that our LEA holds the meeting and it is the reporting the LEA when the affirm happens. Sometimes it is us, sometimes it is the other LEA. Is there a guidance on how best to avoid this situational error?
I would suggest that if you're either the COE or the other LEA is not going to be implementing a plan, that you do not post that plan record. So in this instance, if you're holding this meeting and creating this plan, but the plan is not going to be implemented at the COE, rather at the LEA, the student enrolls to maybe in the fall, for example, then only the LEA that's implementing the plan should post it. You can go through the SEIS transaction reporting process for a status record or a meeting record, but once you get down to the plan and service records, just do not report those.
Okay, and forgive my ignorance on this. If that happens and nothing's reported to CALPADS, it's all created in SEIS, the student then moves on to their new enrollment, how do they know to go to SEIS, trip the trigger, and send it all to CALPADS?
So once the student transfers, the SENR 606 will trigger looking for that adopted plan record for an eligible and participating student. And so at that point, they would know that they need to request the STAS record. Ideally, there's communication between the LEA and COE, but we know that's imperfect. So that either the SENR 606 validation or if LEAs are generating monitoring report 16.21 on a regular basis, like we recommend, they can identify those students that are transferring in who are eligible and participating and know that they need to adopt the plan that's in place. And since we affirm the meeting, the plan record will be there that they can adopt, but the COE just did not need to report a plan that they are not going to implement.
Okay, and again, I'm just ignorant. I just want to learn here.
Sure.
So you just said don't post the plan record if you're not going to implement it. So if the plan record doesn't exist in CALPADS and they move on, there's nothing to adopt and they should be the ones uploading it for the first time.
So they would still be adopting it. Technically, that's the process in SEIS that would just create a replica plan transaction with the new LEA as the reporting LEA and whatever other changes they may need to have made to the plan record if they needed to change the program setting or what have you. And this is kind of just I don't know if this is specific to other special education data systems, but I do know this is how it works in SEIS. Essentially, when they're holding a transition meeting, say it's a student that is in a county-operated preschool that's going to an LEA for kindergarten in the fall. They'll have that transition meeting in the spring, but the county office is not going to implement a kindergarten plan while the student remains with them. So they would want to report the meeting that they held, and if it's an initial, the status, but they don't want to report the plan. Or they could report the plan with a plan effective start date of July 1st of the next year, for example, so that there won't be a conflict in the adopted plan effective start date when the receiving LEA adopts that plan in the following academic year.
All right.
Easy as
Thank
mud.
you. I appreciate the explanation, though. And it looks like we have one quick question that Kyron is responding to. Q1 from Heather at 3:57. Is the LEAP file full replacement?
Yes.
And
Oh,
it
sorry.
is. Thank you, Kai.
I'm posting the link to the table as well
Perfect. Thank you
for
very
the
much.
Very simple
operational key.
operational key too. So be careful with that one.
All right, and we have ended or come to the 4:00 hour, so we can end the Q&A. Thank you all for being here. I learned quite a bit today, and thank you, Angela, for driving. You did an excellent job. Thank you, Dominic, for being here. Thank you all for your excellent questions. We will see you back here next week. If you have a question between now and then, please put it into CALPADS service desk so we can get back to you as quickly as possible and get your questions answered. Have a great week. Be safe and enjoy.